Okay, we are continuing with the control panel drawing 7.4, and I had just finished at the end of the last video making the text on these buttons. What I want to point out is really important is the justification of this text. If I were to highlight this text, I see that there's a grip right in the middle, and that grip coincides with the center of the circle. Okay, that's really important. I think a lot of people tend to forget about the justification. There is a secondary grip on this text in the lower left corner, but if you don't have one in the middle, your text is not properly justified, and that's not correct. One other thing I'll point out here is I made mine with single line text. If you had chosen to use multi-line text, that is okay too. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to switch to the mono style, create some multi-line text. Now with multi-line text, rather than choosing a single point as your starting point, you have to choose 2 points like you're drawing a rectangle. Okay, so I'll just draw 2 points. It doesn't really matter where they are because we're going to move this text after the fact. I'll type the text off, and then using the text editor, you have to make sure that you change the justification. It was just middle when we were using single line text. It's called middle center using the multi-line text. So I'll change the justification and close the text editor. Now this is not in the exact correct position. This is close but not quite. So I need to make sure that I take that central grip that's in the middle center and I move that to the center of the circle. So that the center of the circle is exactly the same as the center grip. If I highlight those two things, I should just see one blue grip in the middle. If the text is slightly off, when I highlight the circle and I highlight the text, I see two different grips. That's not correct. So make sure that we are right on the center of that circle. Okay, so I've got that one panel. I'll go ahead and fillet the corners. Let's see, what's my fillet size? I'm referencing a drawing over here on my other screen. Let me put a radius on that. Okay, the outside radius is 0.5. So I'll go to the Home tab, fillet, radius 0.5, M for multiple, and then I can just go around filleting my four corners. Okay, and the inside radius, the inside fillet is 1/4. So I'll go back to fillet. I've got to change my radius now, R.25, multiple, and then I can, what happened there? Let's try that again. Radius 0.25, multiple. Okay. There we go. There's one. Well, actually, I was going to say that's a complete panel. It's not quite complete yet. I still need to add the text at the top of it that says Machine 1. So, again, I can do that with a single line or multi-line text. Because I started my drawing at the origin, this lower left corner is the coordinate 0, 0. So I can use the coordinate dimensions given to me to know the exact location of where that text needs to be. So I can go to the annotate ribbon, switch this style. I want to be the Roman C style. I'll just do single line text, specify the middle point, 3.1875, comma, 6.9375. Okay, so there's my center point, chosen for me by entering coordinates rather than clicking. rotation angle 0. And now I can type my text. Let me put caps lock on. Machine number 1. Just click, oh, actually hit escape to finish. Okay, now I've got one complete control panel. So what I need to do now, I'm just going to copy that one over twice, and then I can edit the text just by double clicking on it and making it say whatever I want. So let me find out how far over I want that to be. 4.875. So again, all these dimensions should be multiples of 1/8 of an inch. The dimensions in your book are rounded off. Okay, so 4 7/8 is 4.875. Just use my copy. Copy this all over. 4.875. And then I'll copy it make a copy of the copy. 4.875. Okay, so now I can just go about editing my text. This is machine number 2. Machine number 3. Left, right, up, down, on and off remain the same, in, out, open, close, on and off. Okay, one more piece of text needs to go at the top of the overall panel here. And so again, I'm just going to use single line text. You can use multi-line text, but if you use multi-line text, you'll have to move it into the correct position after you've made it. This is going to be the third style I made earlier, Roman T. So if I make some single line text, it's going to ask me for the middle point, and that is going to be 7.9375, comma, nope, sorry, that was my Y dimension. Let's try that again. 8.0625, comma, 7.9375. There's my starting point. Rotation angle 0. Now I can start writing my text, which is processing unit number 4. Okay. One last thing I want to point out here, well, not the last thing, but one more thing. Your text should be on a separate layer than the rest of the drawing, and I probably should have made this change before I copied the control panels, but with a few extra clicks there I can just highlight all the text and switch that from the 0 layer to I've created an annotation layer. So I can use that annotation layer for text and dimensions. Okay, let's see, what else do I need to do to wrap this drawing up? I need to add some chamfers at my corners. Those chamfers are, let's see, how big? 1/4 by 1/4. So, nope, not there, there. Chamfer, I'll just put it in D, distance, 0.25, enter, 0.25, enter, multiple, enter, and then just go around clicking my corners. Chamfer, chamfer, chamfer. Need to add the holes at the corner. So I'll create a circle. Center point, 0.5, comma, 0.5. With a diameter of, I guess that it was 0.5. Let me verify that for sure. Looking at my other drawing here, yes, 0.5. Alright, now I'll take this one and mirror it up to the top. It's like my midpoint object snap wasn't turned on, so I can turn that on. But one thing I want to caution you about is it is not symmetrical about the vertical axis. So I can't just mirror it across the vertical axis. There is no vertical line of symmetry there. So let's see. What I'll do is I'll copy this circle all the way over to the edge and then move it back 0.625. Okay, and then I can mirror it up. Switch to my center line. Go ahead and turn my grid snap back on and just make some center lines here. Now, I often get asked, do the center lines have to extend from one hole all the way over to the other? Could I just make like a center mark? Yes, you can. That would be just fine as well. But I'll make them this way. This is how they are in the book. Okay, and I think we're done.